Hello there, it's time for a New Year update for Volition. I'm joined by Cameron Reynolds, the CEO. Cameron, last time we spoke, you were launching the Nu-Q Vet cancer product. Now there's a lot more going on. You've made some new appointments and you've got some new data coming out. So let's start on that.
Yes, it was a very, very good year in 2020, despite the pandemic. I think the team really did an amazing job of keeping everything moving and getting to the point where we could launch our first product, the Nu-Q Vet cancer test, which has given us tremendous momentum to start 2021 where we are now. We spent 10 years developing a really cutting-edge Nu-Q platform, and now it's developed and stable. We're really looking forward to launching a range of products beyond the vet, through the cancers, NETosis for things like COVID potentially, as well as a range of other areas. And we have been very keen to really strengthen our personnel to provide some really good key experienced people to help us drive the plan for the commercialization of a lot of different products, as well as implement it with a larger and larger team. And a key part of all of this is, of course, having the facilities to really have a product focus as well. And now we have just opened our Silver One facility to provide a really strong facility and a core focus on the product development and manufacturing of the key components, as well as completed kits. And we aim for this to be the center of all of our production for the foreseeable future in the range of different products, because the key components are only really two things, the antibodies and the controls. So we'll have a very strong centralized process for the production of those. And by bringing them in-house, it'll greatly reduce the cost and give us full control of our own supply chain.
Well, let's go through some of those points in a bit more detail. First of all, it would normally be Healthcare Week at this point. Just talk us through what actually happened this year.
This time of year, we're usually in San Francisco for the JP Morgan Healthcare Week. Obviously, this year that's not possible. So I think we've been very active in a range of different conferences to really meet the people we would normally meet. And I think actually in the last few weeks, we've actually met a lot more than we would have in that 1 week in San Francisco. A really good mixture of the partners we have, the institutions, investors, and really getting the message out of where we are and what we're doing and how happy we are with where Volition is. And this is going to be a fantastic year. We've also, with our new product focus, been talking to quite a few collaborators. Our aim has been to launch products ourselves, which we are doing now, beginning with the vet and some of the other cancers like the blood cancers in humans, but we're also very keen to license. So we've had a lot of discussions with potential licensees as well. So the aim with all that would be to launch products as quickly as we can worldwide. Information and data is power, of course. As we said in our introduction, you've got some new data coming out. So just give us a bit more detail around that. Yes, Nick. Certainly the data, we've got so many different things going on. There's a mountain of data. You're never quite sure what's going to be faster or slower. Some of the NETosis COVID things we were expecting late last year, but I'm sure everyone understands that during the pandemic, hospitals that are collecting samples, particularly serial samples from the same people, have been extremely busy. So we're still in the process of waiting for those samples. But something has come through very, very quickly and well. The lung cancer has still been collected very well in Taiwan, and I'd really like to thank our fantastic world-class collaborators in Taiwan. They've been collecting lung cancer samples to answer what I think is the most difficult question in lung cancer screening. You're probably familiar that the main way lung cancer is screened currently is low-dose CT scanning, which provides an image of the lung. The issue is it's like a black and white image. You can find all the nodules, but it doesn't really tell you, particularly in early stage cancers, what's a cancerous nodule and what's a much more harmless non-malignant benign nodule. So the difficult question is, and you don't want to be giving all those people the next level of biopsies and continued scanning, because obviously there's a lot of issues with both of those. So the question which our collaborators wanted to know is, could the Nu-Q assays be helpful in telling a range of people, and our data shows about 32%, so roughly a third, of people that are very, very high, almost 100% specificity, that they did not have a cancerous nodule and they didn't have to be continually followed up. And yeah, that's the most difficult question, I think, of all. Very, very early stage, including stage 0 cancers versus benign nodules in people who have a CT scan. This is the preliminary data on the first set they've sent us. They'll be finished collecting in the next few months. So we'd expect the final package to be this year, hopefully sooner rather than later, but certainly this year. And if it continues to be this good, it's certainly a product we could aim to launch next year. And also, if it continues to be good, we'd look to do a 510K study in the US, as we have done in the blood cancers, to see the timelines for a US product launch as well as the CE mark.
We also talked in our introduction, Cameron, about some new appointments that you're making. We're going to hear from some of those new people in just a moment. But first of all, give us the background, really. It's not a question of just taking people on for the sake of it. It's really because the company, as we're hearing now, is definitely moving ahead.
It's one thing to have world-class intellectual property, cutting-edge platform, great ideas, products, but you really need a cutting-edge team to deliver that as well. And I'd have to say I could not have been happier this year how the team have developed all these products. But the product teams are development teams. They're not product commercialization teams. So we haven't had a big commercialization team, obviously. We have not been a company of products, which we are now. So we've taken on a truly world-class CFO who really help us drive the structuring and the planning and the reporting of the products and the revenue we expect to have. Also a world-class commercialization officer to put together the strategies, do the research. And I think each one of these products could well require its own team. The vet product, as we've talked about, it could be a several $100 million product per year in revenue worldwide. And the other products could also be that in the next few years. So I think each one of them deserves a really well thought out strategy. Not only on the from the financial side with our new CFO, our commercialization director, but also you need strong organizational roles where Gaetan has done an outstanding role in Belgium, and he will now also run worldwide operations, which is fantastic. He's our best operational person. And also Dr. Eccleston is changing to a technology role, an officer to really help us understand what other platforms we need to help launch our products. We're on plates, we're on magnetic beads. We're also being launching, we expect soon, on a point of care, like a thumb prick or a paw prick in the vet space. And of course, there's a lot of different platforms and ideas from different groups out there. So what we want to do is get the very best ideas for how we can launch on every one of those platforms in the very best way for all the different product segments. So it's a real package, the intellectual property, the team, the facilities, the company, and also the commercialization team. And I think that's the final piece in the puzzle. We're going to be judged now on how we deliver the platform into product and revenue. And that's something we're very serious about. And I think the team is a very serious team that can really deliver that well.
Okay, well, let's hear briefly now from the two new members of your team.
I met with Cameron in 2014 at a conference and start to invest in the company and follow the progress over the years. I really enjoyed meeting with the team. I got the chance to meet with a lot of them at different events, including capital markets and ringing of the bell in New York. And now I'm very excited to join Volition as Chief Commercial Officer and effectively launch the commercial transformation of the company, build up the team. I'm very excited by the product pipeline. The 10 years of work in research and development that the company has done has yielded tremendous potential. And now really excited to be working on getting it to the market.
My background is that I'm an accountant from the UK. I originally started my career with the NHS, where I worked briefly before moving into more commercial finance roles. Since then, I've racked up about 25 years of finance and business management experience in a variety of roles, ranging from a biotech startup to a large multinational publisher of health and medical information. I'm excited to be joining Volition at this time for two main reasons. First and foremost, the work being done to create better diagnostic tests can save many lives. Secondly, after many years in the R&D phase, Volition is now entering the commercialization stage with many new products expected to be launched over the next few years. So if we do this well, we'll not only save many lives, but we'll also generate good returns for our shareholders.
I have to say we're still living in challenging times, so it's great to hear some really good news stories about the development of cancer tests that at the end of the day are going to help save the lives of humans and also animals. Well, thanks very much, Cameron. Good to talk to you, and thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you everyone else for your time and interest in Volition. I expect to be speaking to you a lot this year as we really develop all these different products and become a company of products. I couldn't be happier, and thank you again for your time.